And we are right back. Welcome everyone back to the Blue Otter Platinum League Finals. We've got ourselves one heck of a series as game number 1 went into the hands of PLATLAS. However, I got to say, they didn't look the cleanest. It wasn't an absolute domination. There were some times that the side of Tempest looked pretty good as well. Key note on this game, the sides are staying the same. So where we saw the crucial Aatrox pick in the top lane from the side of PLATLAS, we'll see if they are able to find it again during picks and bans. I'm Jake, once again joined by Smartest. What are your thoughts as we come into entering game number 2?
Yeah, really, I think it's more about execution this game because honestly, I think Tempest had a pretty good composition coming out of game 1. I think they were pretty happy with how the draft went. Right? They had the scaling Sivir, they had scaling Vladimir, they had a good engage tool, they had Rakan, they had J4, they had a winning matchup in the top lane with the Aurelia and the Aatrox. Even the mid lane went just how Vladimir would have liked it, being a farm fest game. I think it's just more about how they define what their win conditions are and how they should execute off of it.
Well, they're going to be changing. Go ahead. We were talking about the same thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it looks like they don't want to deal with the Aatrox this time. They're banning that away right away and saying, you know what, we're fine dealing with Sejuani. We don't want to see that Aatrox.
Well, it might not have been win condition for PLATLAS, but they definitely found success with the Aatrox and the Olaf in the top lane at the very beginning of the game, entering the enemy team jungle and finding themselves a nice little bit of a lead there with a flash out of the great Jace, as well as that red buff early on. So you know what Tempest said? That's where things went wrong terribly for us. Let's take away both of those champions from the hands of PLATLAS, as well as the Hecarim, and now the Braum gets locked in as the very first pick out of PLATLAS, focusing once again to this bottom side of the map, having a very strong tank front line. We saw that out of the Alistar last game. It was available this time, but they said they want the Braum, so expect a strong ADC to be paired with him at the next big pick opportunity for PLATLAS, because when you compare something like a Lucian, something like a Kai'Sa in that bottom lane with Braum, you can have a great kill lane.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see, because I put out the Rakan game 1, I was expecting more of a potential like Xayah Rakan coming in. Another bot lane which is still sees tons of pro play, does really well, but looks like they're going to go for the Ezreal instead here. Quick note on the earlier fact though, while the invade definitely won in the favor of PLATLAS game number 1, it was great Jace on Aurelia who did pick up first blood minutes later in the top lane.
Very true. Ooh, this is exciting out of PLATLAS. Okay, the Kindred, Budicus. If you look at the OPGG stats, top played champion in ranked with a massive win percentage. I think I can pull that up very quickly there. 66 wins. Okay, 45% win ratio. I was looking at the Hecarim at 65% win ratio, so I was getting a little bit hyped there, but you can see why the Hecarim was banned away. But instead, despite not having the greatest win percentage, only 45%, he's on something very comfortable from the side of PLATLAS. So they're going with a little bit of a comfort pick there for him. They also grabbed the Syndra. To me, that says, again, they're not so focused on the bottom lane. They say, you know what, the Tupper, he can play a bunch of ADCs. He's got a whole bunch in his lineup, so instead we're going to focus on picking for the rest of the team, putting them on champions that they feel good on, and then we'll grab our ADC afterwards. And you can see Tempest going ahead and banning away the Kai'Sa. We'll see if they decide to invest 2 bans into the Tupper. There it is, the Caitlyn ban coming through as well. And with the Ezreal locked in by Tempest, they want to make sure that is not the super easy, passive, disengaged fight lane of an Ezreal-Alistar combo, because the two of them can make it very difficult to ever actually get in and try to kill someone. And so they take away that pairing. We'll see what the support Tempest decides to bring out paired with that Ezreal.
And one thing to note is from Budicus is it was very evident from his playstyle early on that it shows he's a Kindred mage. We saw him playing that counter jungle sort of playstyle. So I think it definitely matches up that he elected to take the Kindred here. I think Kindred's a pretty interesting matchup with Syndra. They don't exactly have the greatest of synergies among the two of them. Syndra wants to execute, Kindred wants people to stay alive. As the Yuumi does get locked in. I think the Yasuo is a really spicy pick coming out of Tempest here. Very aggressive, very confident, especially when you pair up something like Sejuani. The Yuumi is I've seen Yuumi kind of be hit or miss in competitive play. I'm curious to see how our Cardi chooses to execute off of that. It can be very impressive, or it can fall behind a lot. The Tristana gets picked up here.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So one of the factors about the Yuumi is that you're generally speaking want to be doing a lot of harassing, and pairing the Yuumi with the Ezreal, you have a ton of poke options. However, the one thing that you don't have besides Ezreal's Arcane Shift is a lot of disengage, right? And when you've got someone that's trying to jump forward, but you're also protected by that Braum Unbreakable Shield, you want someone that can respond in turn, that can follow Ezreal's Arcane Shift when he's trying to hop backwards with Yuumi, just following him through that. And so you take the Tristana. She says, you know what? I have a rocket jump that'll take me just as far as that Arcane Shift. I'll chase you wherever it is that you try to go to, and the Braum can join me with the stand behind me as well. So there's lots of potential for heavy mobility in this bottom lane. However, look at Tempest's other champions, that Yasuo being locked in the mid lane. Duck Solo, very strong player there, and the knockups can pair well with Sejuani because of the CC. She can just join him in that mid lane, look for these quick kills onto Syndra as a low mobility champion. Yasuo doesn't need to hit that level 6, even though it's nice. He can just go in, look for a quick tornado, get the CC lockdown with Sejuani as well. There's so many opportunities for Tempest's jungler and mid laner to find success in the early stages of the game. We'll see if they can do that though, because according to the last game, while they did okay, they did not do very, very good.
Right, and just for the spectators watching, as Project was, the last ban on Tempest was in fact a Caitlyn. Just in case anyone was curious on that, was not a wasted ban, did become a Caitlyn there. Now, the one thing interesting is the Kennen. I'm surprised. I think Kennen is a good pickup for them. They needed some AP. They took the Yasuo in the mid lane. They have the Sejuani jungle, not exactly tons of AP damage. Ezreal, not really AP. He does some AP, but let's be honest with ourselves here. I'm kind of more surprised that that Tempest didn't elect to repeat the Vladimir and choose to send in the top lane this time. Especially when the enemy team is very susceptible to that sort of play style. They have the Kindred, they have the Braum, a lot of things for Vladimir to sort of work around, instead of opting for the Kennen. So we'll see how aggressive he chooses to play with it. An auto attack range champion does mean that Tempest's front line is going to be a little bit squishier. Kennen does like to go on with Zhonya's, but all they really have is Sejuani this time around. Whereas PLATLAS, they've got Braum, they've got Sion, and they've got a Kindred to keep people alive.
Yeah, and they've got so much post-teamfight opportunities. You look at that Kindred, she's got that ultimate to bring everyone, not only Zhonya's for a period of time, but they also are going to get that health boost back. And when you pick that Sion, you know that you're probably going to die a time or two in those bigger team fights, but you're going to pop right back up to deal that extra damage. And so one of the things from the side of PLATLAS is their ability to kind of reset fights. Even if they lose at the beginning of the fight, when you look at the Wombo combo out of the Sejuani, out of the Slicing Maelstrom from the Kennen, Great Jace, there's opportunities and likelihood that you're going to lose the beginning of the fight, but that's okay. You're going to drop that Kindred ultimate, you're going to get Sion to be that tanky front line, you're going to give the Braum time to position, and once those ultimates are used by the side of Tempest, then you can go back in and look for those kills after those big cooldowns have been burned.
Absolutely. And again, I'm curious to see if Tempest fixes the issues they had from game 1, where they sort of lacked a macro playstyle, and see how they choose to sort of play that out this time. Where is Sejuani going to look to get the advantage? Kennen should have Prio over Sion. Yasuo, Syndra can go either way, but Yasuo typically gains Prio starting level 2 and 3. So I'm very curious to see where Sejuani should play. Is she going to focus in the bot lane? Is she going to try and get Yasuo lead in the mid lane and go for, carry style Yasuo? What exactly is their game plan? This time they do have more options. Curious to see what they do, but you need Kennen and Yasuo to be ready to react to the invades that we're going to see coming in from Budicus on the Kindred here, who's going to obviously try and find some stacks. So very curious to see how both teams sort of play around the vision, because Kindred sort of changes the game a little bit. Like a Skarner, actually Skarner's the only one I can think of who actually changes. Skarner, Mordekaiser, there's a couple people who force you to play the game a little differently. Obviously, the stacks coming in from Kindred. I do think that the Kennen in the top lane will be able to rotate faster. So I think now you're going to see Budicus having to be a little more cautious. Maybe set up vision beforehand or something, or even look to just play on the bot side of the map instead of the top stacks, and say, okay, how am I going to efficiently gain stacks this game?
And for those of you that are watching the stream that cannot see the spells, a quick note there, the top laners are both taking TP, but last game, Duck Solo and Weenie added TPs to their spells. This time around are not taking it. It's the Ignite on Duck Solo's Yasuo, looking for the aggression, and the Cleanse out of the Syndra, knowing that she has the ability to be jumped on in that mid lane, locked down with the CC, and so taking that Cleanse to make sure that even if that CC comes through, she can still have that opportunity to escape, maybe making the turnaround play. Quick thing to note on that Yasuo is his ability to Wind Wall. It can be used against the ultimate out of Syndra, the Unleashed Power, as well as pretty strong against Tristana, because late game she's going to have some pretty powerful attack speed. Now, we went through the players last time. Let's actually roll through players and champions this time around as we are setting up for game number 2. We've got ourselves PLATLAS once again on the blue side, but this time Zion Athenian going to be playing, Zion Athenian playing the Scion in the top lane, Boudica on the Kindred into the jungle, Weenie Hut Jugga with the Syndra in the mid lane, the Tupper with Tristana AD carry, and Nala and Pepper on a different support of the Braum.
And for Tempest, once again on the red side, we've got Great Jace running the Kennen this time around, Zohair on the Sejuani in the jungle, Duck Solo on the Yasuo mid lane, Come On Shoot Faster on the Ezreal AD carry, and R21 Cardi on the Yuumi support, who, by the way, has heal exhaust, not ignite exhaust.
So definitely wanting to be super supportive in that bottom lane, maybe expecting some of the poke to come out from the Tristana. Something really nice that I like about PLATLAS' Tristana is the fact that Ezreal does not do great when shoved underneath that turret. He is a bit of a slow farmer. It's difficult for him to make sure that he gets all the CS underneath the turret, and Tristana is the exact opposite of that. She is not only fantastic if she happens to get shoved underneath the turret, but she can shove incredibly hard. Harder than I would say sometimes even a Sivir, because of that passive, being able to add that extra AoE damage to all those minions. And so I would expect the Tupper and Nala to just hard shove this bottom lane, get Yuumi and Ezreal stuck underneath that turret. Every time that Yuumi or Ezreal try to make a bit of a harder poke, Braum is just going to throw up the Unbreakable. They're going to absorb that. However, that does mean that where last game Tempest's bottom lane was shoved forward and made it difficult for Zohair to find opportunities to make any plays, this time around, if the Tristana and Braum are shoved to the turret, the Sejuani could definitely try to make some of her plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, with the Braum, it's kind of hard to make plays, and the Braum is one of the supports that lets you be a little more defensive, where, you know, you let Tristana run away, you stand up a little bit forward, try and absorb any range projectiles or anything, and then you jump to the Braum, jump to your AD carry, in this case, Tristana. And because it is Yuumi, they don't exactly have a lot of lockdown or anything like that. It's just going to be Sejuani trying to set it up. Yuumi does, can throw out the Q to try and get a slowdown, but Braum can eat that pretty easily. So I'm kind of curious to see, I think if Braum is able to land a concussive blow and get the stacks going, I think it's concerning for Ezreal here, who might just get locked down very, very quickly. Because one thing about Yuumi is, while she's safe in the sense that she hides, she hides inside of an allied champion, once she's out, she is so squishy. Well, it's like 4 autos and boom, dead.
Yeah, that's actually how I've been able to find a lot of success against Yuumi in the bottom lane. As a support main, I've been playing a lot of Leona, and she has great CC lockdown, and she can lock down the enemy team ADC. They're fairly squishy. As long as you can jump in, get that initial lockdown, then the rest of it is fairly easy, because you kill off the ADC, who, as long as you can do more damage than Yuumi's heals, especially early game, that's not that difficult. You're going to kill the ADC, and then Yuumi is left all alone for you to just walk right in and find the kill. But we are straight into game number 2, PLATLAS versus Tempest. Now, PLATLAS is up 1 game over Team Tempest, and we'll see if with this composition, running 1 frontline tank and a lot of team fight and poke, we'll see if Tempest can strike back in game number 2.
One thing to keep in mind, it is Battle Principal Yuumi.
Oh. Well, the professor is here, and the professor will see if she can lead her team to victory.
Teach some lessons. Hopefully with a comeback victory.
Did you do your homework?
Yeah, did you do your homework? And the response is, I think that's what Yumi's going to be asking her teammates this game, because they need to find the comeback victory to once again set their foot into the series and let PLATLAS know that, hey, we're not out, we're not down for the count. You might have taken game 1, but we're still in the series. As interestingly enough, despite all the shenanigans from game 1, we see a lot of pressure on the bot side of the map coming in from Tempest now, just simply tossing a ward onto the red buff, saying, you know what, Kindred, you want to look for that play again? You go on right ahead. we're going to focus on the bot side of the map as they rotate up. Not entirely sure what their game plan was there. Maybe they were expecting an invade with the Braum and looking at a stack. That's about the only thing I can think of. And I think a lot of what we're going to see early on is the pressure that Kennen is going to be exerting onto the Scion in the top lane. And most likely we're going to see Tristana pushing in into Ezreal in the bot lane due to that passive.
Yeah, so we'll see if that comes through. I like the warning, though, by Tristana sitting in that tri-brush. There's the opportunities for teams to try to make some cheesy plays by roaming a bunch of people into there. And I suppose that you do have the slow on Yuumi that could try to lead into an actual advantage. Usually, though, the side that has the Braum is the one that's looking for those early invades and early leads. But it's a fairly safe and slow start for both teams. Bit of a classic junglers starting on opposite sides of the map at this point, as most of the red side junglers do like to start on their red side. So we'll see where they roam to. I think that she's actually been able to avoid this ward on the top side of the map, though. She did use that Arctic Assault rush over the wall, so I don't think she's actually been seen rotating through there. We'll see if that comes in handy, though.
Yeah, I think both. Now, one thing interesting is, is that both Kennen and Ezreal are running Klepto. I did just see Kennen get a sly sack of gold, giving him a little bit of a little gold advantage there. He's already got 150 more gold than the Scion. It's 2.5 minutes in.
GG, rip.
Kleptomancy OP confirmed. It's just OP.
Well, he's going to have to wait to back to actually use that gold. But yeah, Kleptomancy very strong, which does show in that top side. The Great Jace is not actually looking at destroying the lane, right? He's looking at being able to just farm up, stack up a ton of gold, use the fact that Scion's a bit slow in that top side to pick up as much poke farm as possible, grab up that gold, and then stack for later. Wait until he's at level 6, 7, 8, 9, and TP in with that TP to a bigger team fight for use of that Slicing Maelstrom. Now, in the bottom lane, Cardi, doing a very similar thing to that Kennen wants to do. Just poke away, right? You're keeping the Ezreal safe, and you can see at the moment that Tristana is trying to slowly shove this lane in. She's doing a lot of auto attacks, getting these minions low. Braum's helping her out as well as they're trying to shove the lane into the enemy team turret. And, a little bit of gank here in the mid lane. They found some good CC chaining onto the Syndra. She's locked up, but she was forced to flash and burn the cleanse as well. And that's exactly what you want to see out of Tempest. Finding success in this mid lane. Syndra are going to have to play very, very safe until that flash is back up off a cooldown.
And they juggled the abilities between the two very well. Then, even though the cleanse came in, it didn't do a thing because the next CC was it was thrown down right away. So really good play by them, like you said, blowing both of the summoners from Syndra, which means that Sejuani can now look to put a lot of pressure on the map here as Kindred just getting just exerting some pressure here. Nothing too crazy.
Shoving the cannon back, saying you don't get to farm gold off of my top laner, at least not for a couple of minutes, as the Tristana continue to get poked by Yuumi on the bottom side of the map. Braum going to step forward aggressively, find a little bit of a concussive blow stack, but not going to chase forward any further, as Ezreal and Yuumi are doing a pretty good job. You can see, though, as the wave starts to crest a little bit past this river, Yuumi jumps out to kind of help harass the enemy team off of those minions so that this Ezreal can clear the farm and keep it even right here exactly where he wants it, just to continue to farm.
Absolutely, and I think Yuumi is actually playing this really well, as you mentioned. Juggling forms quite a bit, exerting pressure wherever she can. And they've already dropped her Son at about 50% health here. I want to see them sort of try and now, as the wave's going to push into PLATLAS here. Well, yeah, it should push into them if they continue to play it this way. Should push back into them. Actually, no, Tristana's okay. So Tristana is pushing the wave back into Tempest, and she shouldn't be here. So for some reason, Tristana's autoing the wave. You actually want to set up a freeze here. You want to try and set it back because you are Tristana. You clear minions so fast anyway. You don't want it to push into the enemy's tower like that. You want to try and keep it as close to the middle of the lane as possible. If you just free-form autoing it, it's going to be really hard for you to sort of set anything up for yourself with a Braum. Because at this point, Braum's like, what do? I can throw a Q out, but I mean, what's it really going to accomplish? I mean, I can't go in and get the stun off. So you're seeing Ezreal and Yuumi being able to freely harass in this lane because there's no room, there's no real estate for Braum to work with.
All right, now that shove forward, though, did allow the bottom side of PLATLAS to back 1,200 gold sitting on that Tristana, so should be pretty happy about that. However, the Ezreal also in a good position to recall. There you go. You see him backing, and if he wants to, he can TP back to lane with the Yuumi, and that will allow them to keep up that pressure on the bottom side of the map as he's completed that tier of the goddess, and that's exactly what he was looking for. The early tier and then TP back to lane with Yuumi. Kindred roaming here into the mid lane. The stun comes through from Syndra onto the Yasuo. He's going to immediately tornado the Kindra. A great wind wall to stop a lot of those auto attacks coming through. However, he's getting taken a bit low, down to about half. The Sejuani's here though, gets the knockup, the last breath from Duck Solo to find the first blood of the game onto the Kindred. The delay was so good. The aggressive step forward by Yasuo, letting Syndra follow up and just pair up so beautifully.
Yeah, really fancy feat from Duck Solo there, playing around the sweeping blade really well, going through the wave. It looked kind of bad for him for a second, but managed to find the turnaround play because Budicus was not quite level 6 yet, did not have the Lamb's Respite ready just yet. So I mean, all in all, worked out really well for Yasuo. Has a 15 CS lead, is up a KO, is in a great position. If they can keep looking to snowball this lead and have Yasuo roam, like look, exactly what they're doing right now, just trying to secure a buff here.
Oh, Kindred
play.
throwing out the wolf, not having to run away. Syndra, no, sorry, Syndra not here to help out. Braum gonna step forward, hit the blast cone, so they're kind of dividing up the lines between both teams. PLATLAS collapse as well as the Ezreal coming around from behind. Come on, shoot faster, getting a little bit of poke over the wall. Not gonna do that much. It's a red buff will not be stolen by Zohair, but it was a good attempt. And if Kindred had been a little bit less paying attention, might have been able to find another kill.
A little bit of an early engage by Zohair as well. If he waited for Yasuo to get them, maybe they would have been able to stay on that a little bit more. But that's all right. They did manage to get some pressure on. And, you know, maybe Zohair is just feeling a little bit upset. Maybe he's like, you know what? I had to deal with you last game. I'm going to show you how it felt.
Well, I think it was actually the wolf out of Kindred that caught sight of the Syndra sitting in the brush. And so Zohair said, you know what? I got to engage now because otherwise I've already been caught out and the trap not going to work. Ooh, nice little sidestep from Nala. On the bottom side, still gets hit by the auto attack from Yuumi, who just keeps bouncing around. However, Kindred is starting up the Mountain Drake. Buddha gonna get incredibly low with this Mountain Drake, but that is a steal, a massive steal, as the Scuttle Crab was already taken by Tempest Zohair. That is huge for the Kindred to take the Blast Cone. No, the Blast Cone was down. She just tumbled over the wall, soloed out the Mountain Drake, and then tumbled right back. Great call out of PLATLAS.
Yeah, did a really good job getting dragons. You know, that is the one thing we'd really give Budicus a lot of credit to. A lot of good focus on the dragons in these games. You know, we saw PLATLAS pick up just about all 4 drakes that were available last game, and already picked up the first dragon here as just some. Oh, flag goes on.
Yuumi ult called in the bottom side. Tupper gonna get rooted up, but again, a great rocket jump just gets her out to safety. So that's why they chose this champion, was exactly for situations just like that. And the farming goes right back again in the bottom side. But you can see this Yuumi poke started to come through bit by bit, dropping these bottom members from PLATLAS below half health. So they're chugging potions to try to keep their health up against this poke.
A quick fun fact on Yuumi, and for those who don't know, on Champion and the initial Champion design, Yuumi's Q, Prowling Projectile, lasted for 6 seconds and had a lot more control of the motion of it. You could make right angles with the projectile, so it was like a swerving motion.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's 1.45 seconds, so you can only imagine, you could just zone people out with the Prowling Projectile. It was pretty incredible. Glad they didn't choose to implement that into live.
6 seconds and right angles would have been pretty difficult to deal with, but at the moment, Nala and Tupper doing a good job of just absorbing the pressure down there. They're saying even in CS, you can see though Ezreal, knowing that he was going to be harassed a little bit on this bottom side of the map, went ahead and started that call, so he's looking again towards that late game. He's in the mid lane. It might be a solo kill by Duck Solo. He's been hit by the Unleashed Power, but doesn't even care. The Ignite ticks down and goes 2-0 in the mid lane. Duck Solo looking a lot more comfortable on this Yasuo than the Vladimir last game.
Yeah, that was actually so cleanly executed. Didn't just use last breath. I can think for a second. Last breath right away. Held it. Went for autos. Tried to get Cinder to react, and then use it on the tornado at the very end of it, getting the execute off of it. Played very patiently and very well. You can tell he's got a lot of experience on this champion.
So we'll see if that continues and he becomes a carrying force for the side of Tempest. They definitely need one after last game. They definitely seemed a little bit lost as to what to do during some of those team fights. It's a 2,000 gold lead for Tempest, but PLATLAS have been here before. They've been down in gold, and they were able to find so much success last game off of those grouped team fights. We'll see if they can pull it off again, as so far, if you look down the CS line, pretty much everyone on the side of Tempest has a CS lead, and that means eventually they will have that item lead and can find some of these wins in those team fights.
Yeah, but I still have the same complaint from last game. I sort of see Zohair still not really doing anything in these things. He had the opportunity there to try and get Kennen ahead. You have Sion, someone you can lock down really easily. I want to see Zohair making some proactive decisions here. All we see him doing right now is just running from the top of the jungle to the bottom of the jungle, bottom jungle to the top of the jungle. I want to see him getting more vision on. I want to see him buy pink boards. I want to see him clearing vision. He does have the sweeping, which is good. I want to see, there's the pink. I like it. I like what I'm seeing now. It's him maintaining that vision. Okay, you know what? They got the first Drake. That's fine. The next Drake coming up is an Infernal. We want that Drake. We got a Yasuo who's super far ahead. We've got a bot lane who's being very dominant right now. In a 5v5 setting, we're confident that Kennen.
Buddha.
Didn't even notice that.
Buddha was snuck in, however, was seen out by that ward. Didn't use the Scrying Totem earlier, and that was a bit unfortunate. And the top lane side getting a little bit of poke onto Great Jace. But yeah, with that play on the bottom side of the map, the Kindred wasted a lot of time sitting there. Was seen by Tempest as soon as she walked into the lane. Great Jace on the top side, getting a little bit of poke back down onto this Jace, Sion on the top side.
Also Herald's on the Rift.
Yeah, Sejuani has been able to start up the Rift Herald. We'll see if they're actually able to claim at the moment. There it is. The smite comes through. Should be able to grab that. Now, last game, Tempest did grab that Rift Herald, used it in the mid lane to find themselves a turret. It wasn't the first turret of the game, but definitely a turret for themselves. We'll see if they can do that again and maybe find themselves a bit more of a gold lead. At the moment, things staying fairly even so far. And while I think that last game being even definitely benefited Tempest a lot more, this game, they really don't want to just go even. They want to go ahead. They want to get this Yasuo snowballing. As a little bit of play on the bottom side of the map. Tristana rocket jumping forward. She's going to get the auto attack. There's the stun onto the Ezreal. The ultimate out of Braum. Only going to slow Yuumi as she was able to actually dodge out most of that after the Ezreal fell. But that's the lockdown we've been waiting all game for PLATLAS to pull.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, Dragon is up, but Kindred's in the top lane, so they can't actually get the Dragon off of that play, which is really good for them as they are trying to collapse on Sejuani here.
Sejuani's going to see them and know that this is happening. Now the collapse from Tempest. They've got 4 members down here. Yumi's able to hop over the wall or chase, follow the Ezreal if he wants to Arcane Shift over the wall. But no, they're instead going to be focusing on the Infernal Drake at the moment. The Tristana and the Braum are around the corner, but there is no one else for the side of PLATLAS here fast enough to respond. Syndra's coming in very slowly, but the smite from from the Sejuani, is good. The TP coming in from the Sion, but the Tristana's been cut out. She tries to flash away. Nala Pepper here, but the Yasuo is chasing in. He's going to flash forward as well. The Tristana ignited, ticking down, slicing Maelstrom from the Ken to the backside, looking for the Sion, but is going to only find the Syndra. The Sion will fall as well, and the collapse from Tempest is just so good. They find themselves 3. They get the Infernal Drake, and they are looking good. Dropping the Rift Herald now into the bottom side of the map, roaming straight towards that first turret of the game. They should be able to grab this without any problem.
And really, we have to sort of give tribute to how much of their lead has been because of Duxel's performance in the mid lane. Him getting so far in the mid lane is really what has allowed them to catapult their leads as far. And even though Zohair found a really good pick there, it was the fact that Duxel was able to just chase down Tristana and just eliminate the Tuper from the fight there. As Kindred's on the corner, but what are they going to do here? This is just a repeat of last game. 2 towers instantly. Duxel is still being so aggressive, even after a play like that.
Now, you say it's a repeat of last game. It is to note the fact that PLATLAS actually won last game. So even with a similar play, Tempest may not be completely out of the woods just yet. PLATLAS have a ways to go that they could try to find some advantages of their own. Most of their members completing first items so far. However, you're looking at Tempest. Most of their members have an item and a half. They have the Ezreal just now finishing that Man Immune. He's got that extra sheen as well. Has yet to complete the call, but definitely going to hurt when he starts to hit people. Tristana still sitting on tier 1 boots and an Infinity Edge.
Yeah, and at this point, you mentioned before, PLATLAS is not out of the game just yet. Their win condition at this point is to just keep getting Tristana elite. If they can just play around Tristana, always Kindred does find Sejuani.
Oh, she's going to need to try to take this Sejuani down. Zohair dropping low, has the stun, though, and now can try to walk away, but the auto attack comes through. That's a second mark for the Kindred, who's definitely in trouble. Blast coding the Scion to safety for a moment, maybe going down, but this Indra and Braum are here. The unbreakable wall stops everything. Yasuo's still going to be here. It's going to be great. Jace going golden for a moment, but still going to be shut down as Tristana hops in. That's the rocket jump. A second kill for PLATLAS. It's actually 3 with the earlier Sejuani going down, and PLATLAS is right back into the game. True Shot Barrage going to glide on by as the focus is this mid lane first tier turret for themselves, so they'll get even more gold, and a fantastic roam by PLATLAS puts them right back into the game.
And I was just mentioning, what do they need to do? They need to get Tristana lead. Tristana just found 2 shutdowns in that fight. 2 shutdowns. Which is going to help carry that lead forward. Now, all of a sudden, if you're Tempest, you're concerned again. You're saying, oh no, you know, like, we had the lead, but now they've fed Tristana. They got a 3-0 Tristana who's sitting on 1850 gold. It's going to go back, pick up maybe a rapid fire cannon, 600. Can't quite afford the rapid fire cannon yet, but it's going to get tier 2 boots and pick up most of the components for an attack speed item. It's going to start looking pretty scary here.
We'll see if, though, they can take that pressure and use that somewhere, but with a great team fight won by PLATLAS, there's still more standing gold at the top and bottom side of the map of those turrets. Also want to check in very quickly because apparently most of these games have been pretty critical around these drakes. It's a second mountain drake that will be spawning, and if PLATLAS are able to grab that for themselves with 2 mountain drakes, we might be looking again at quickly burned barons and then some sieges from the blue side once again.
Especially when you have a Kindred and Tristana who just melt Baron anyway. Not to mention if you have 2 mountain drakes on top of that. So really, you're saying, if you're PLATLAS, that's your big objective right now. It's like, we want this dragon.
Oh, Kindred gonna spot out these 2 as they're gonna be hopped on. They're just on over the wall. Great 2-man stun out of Syndra. Flash just to avoid the Yasuo. Yumi also might be able to catch all 3. Setting up for the True Shot Barrage out of the Ezreal. The Sejuani is able to grab the Kindred for the moment. Unbreakable from Braum, trying to protect his team. He will not save the Syndra. He throws out the Glacial Fissure, but it's not enough to save his team. Scion charges in, but hits a wall and has to back away. And a great punish out of Tempest, despite a good catch by Jungle at the very beginning of that fight. The rest of the team from Tempest collapsed so well off of Yumi's ultimate, and now the mid lane first tier turret, the focus of Tempest, wanting to again put themselves deep into the lead. 3,000 gold. They are looking so good in that particular fight. So it's kind of a which team wipes the other situation right now. One team gets 3 members, one team gets 4. Back and forth they go.
Yeah, it has not really been quite. It hasn't been decisive yet. It's one team wins the fight and you're like, oh, this is their time to shine. They're gonna take this, gonna do things with it, and then 30 seconds later they get wiped, and we're like, oh, okay. Now it's PLATLAS' time to shine. They're gonna take this lead. They got Tristana fed. They're gonna do it. Next thing you know, they get wiped, and once again move back on Tempest, saying, oh, they have the lead. So it's quite a game so far.
The seesaw continues. We'll find who falls off, though, as the second Mountain Drake is going to go down in favor of PLATLAS. Quick note on the Kindred. Not only was mentioned in chat, as Preacher Boy mentioned, the Kindred ultimate would have been so nice in that moment, but Budokas is only sitting on 2 marks right now. That is so bad for a Kindred. At this point in the game, by about 20 minutes, you really need that 4 marks so that you can get that extra attack range and attack speed. And at this moment, Kindred still has to get 2 more marks to make that happen. So it's going to be slow going for a while yet.
Also, I'm not entirely sure about the itemization path here. It looks like he's going for a Black Cleaver build. Black Cleaver Kindred, it's come up a little bit, but it's not as strong as just straight ADC. Kindred, if you opt for a Blade of the Rune King Runon's pathway, typically works a little bit better. So we'll see how he chooses to itemize this. When you build Black Cleaver, you aren't usually able to go for like an IE, which lets Kindred get really strong later on. Yasuo is just looking for blood.
Ooh.
Look how aggressive he was.
Dashing through those minions, feeling good. Had Yumi with him as well, so knew that he'd have those extra heals and potential slows coming through as well. And you can see Yumi saying, you know what, I was hanging out with Ezra for a while, but I want to focus on the person that can truly carry the team in for a victory, so I'm going to join with the Yasuo. Now, top lane Baron is going to be spawning here in just a couple of seconds. There we go, as the members of Tempest are somewhat collapsing up here, maybe looking for Zion Athenian a second time, as he's already fallen once this game. There's the engage out of the cannon, coming in with the Lightning Rush sign immediately going to ult away. Ooh, a fantastic drift around the wall. That is some good control. Get Sion out.
Somebody signed that boy for NASCAR.
Hey, it would be good because it's all left turns, so that's exactly what he did there. Good left turn. Gets the side of top lane from PLATLAS out. So they're going to be pretty happy about that. But the side of Tempest didn't really invest that much. They didn't even throw any ultimates. It was just kind of walking into lane. So not that much costed there. And they are happy to just reset again around this Baron. First team that finds an advantage, you know that they're going to try to push something, either a team fight or this Baron. At the moment, bot lane kind of left alone. It's a very long lane, dangerous for PLATLAS to send anyone down there to try to push in for that first tier turret. So everyone just stays grouped here around the Baron.
Yeah, one crucial point is that Yasuo does have Light E now. He's going to start doing a lot more damage. I think this is actually a pretty dangerous play by PLATLAS here, but it does look like Tempest is expecting it. They see Sion on the top lane. They're probably thinking, oh, there's no way they're on Baron. They're not going to be able to react to this in time.
Oh, yeah, they don't even get here in time. Great steal away by PLATLAS. Clear out the vision, and the timing is just right as Tempest kind of reset after that last fight, or last attempt at a fight. They reset, went back, bought new items, and lose the Baron for it. PLATLAS able to get out pretty cleanly.
And like I was saying before, with the Kindred and the Tristana, they just blow Baron away. But they have been doing, I've noticed this. They ping the marks basically right away. They're doing a really good job trying to make sure that Boudikas is not able to find the stacks that he's looking for. And I think that's a great play style. But however, now that they have Baron, I don't want to see the 1-3-1. I want to see PLATLAS just 5, and they need Sion to stand in front of the team, and for Tristana, Kindred, and Syndra to just melt people. That is how they need to play this. They're running the 1-3-1 again. They don't have the Sion with the AD carry. This could be dangerous if Zohair is able to set Duck Solo up for a play here.
Well, they are going to be going for that 1-3-1. We'll see if they actually find success with that. That Kindred, level 13, trying to get, as we said, as many marks as possible. I think still sitting on 2. The push from the Ezreal and the Yasuo and Yumi, though she isn't necessarily always there, in the mid lane. Just continue to make sure these minion waves are shoved as Syndra's going to be facing off against Kennen to the top side of the map. Jungler and enemy team top laners meeting here. Just clearing out some of that vision in the mid lane. So the stalemate has kind of continued. This is actually huge for Tempest because they're burning off so much time. There's that ultimate at the top lane. The Kennen slicing Maelstrom. The Kindred going to go ahead and throw down that ultimate. Get a little bit of heal as well. Trying to back away just outside of that turret range shot. But they've already lost the Syndra, as great damage from Great Jace in that top lane will get 1.
Yeah, that was a 1v2 play and still found a kill. This could not be better for Tempest right now.
Now we might see able to play in this mid lane as the Kindred is successful at taking down that top lane turret. Second turret for the side of PLATLAS and Sejuani. Zohair still hanging around that corner is going to be seen by that Q from Nala Pepper. Really, really wise shot there. Had that just ward around the corner in the Raptor pit. So caught sight of Sejuani walking into that brush. Going ahead and tossing out that Q, making sure that they know where she is, but this will be potentially a second Drake for Tempest as they're going to start up the Ocean Drake. Should be able to burn it down fast enough. There they do, claiming it for themselves, still sitting at a good 2,500 gold lead.
Yeah, no, PLATLAS was really just not using their Baron buff efficiently at all here. They have 2 mountains with a Baron. They should be just pushing objectives right now. They aren't even getting past half. They aren't even getting a wave halfway past a lane. Oh, as the engage starts coming in.
Here's it from Sion. Oh, and he just arcane shifts out of the way. The rest of the team still going to try to make the collapse. The great wind wall from Yasuo stops the glacial fissure in his tracks. Yumi ultimate to disengage as well. Beautiful play from Tempest as a whole. Just backing away from that fight. That is 3 ultimates on cooldown from PLATLAS, and Tempest hasn't burned, or has only burned 2. So now they can step forward, see if they can make a play for themselves. The last breath is still available on the Yasuo. He's jumping forward, looking for a tornado knockup to get the rest of the team. And I'm surprised Zohair didn't throw out that glacial prison, looking for a pick, but will continue to hold it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the shot-calling decision there. Unstoppable Onslaught being thrown down by Zion, but onto Ezreal, it's not gonna connect. So I'm a little curious to know what the communication was there, because I think that they did need to pull the trigger. I don't think they needed to try and pull the trigger onto an Ezreal who can just arcane shift out of the unstoppable onslaught.
If you look at the lineup from Tempest, they actually have a fantastic one at disengaging. Even if you don't look at Ezreal with his arcane shift, you're going to have the untargetable Yuumi, so that she's obviously not available. You're going to have that Arctic Assault by the Sejuani, so she's going to be able to dash away. You're going to have these Lightning Rush out of Kennen, and as long as there are minions, Duck Solo can also slice through those minions to escape. So there's high mobility on the side of Tempest, and it's going to make it very difficult for Zion Athenian to actually pick one target to try to jump into, especially when sitting kind of off to the side like that. Straight down the lane might be a little bit more successful at finding someone to knock up for the rest of the team to follow up as afterwards, but in that situation, even if you were looking for somebody outside of the Ezreal, it would have been very difficult to lock someone down.
Yeah, I think in that situation, like first of all, like you mentioned, you can't come in from the side like that. You have to look for the middle. Oh, it looks like Yasuo's looking for blood.
Oh, gonna come in.
For the tornado, though.
Yeah. Without that tornado landing, most of the team just says, you know what, we gotta back off. And that's part of the problem out of Tempest, right? You look at them, besides the Sejuani, there's no great way to guarantee and engage. Maybe the Kennen with a Lightning Rush and the Slicing Maelstrom finding a stun, or the Sejuani ultimate, but outside of that, most of the team has to go forward pretty hard when they would rather be going backwards. And a nice split push from the side of that Kindred, picking up that third outer turret, ties up turrets for PLATLAS.
And I think at this point, honestly, PLATLAS might just be calling for a turtle strat. They might just be trying to get Syndra onto enough items because Syndra's so far behind right now from a gold perspective. She can't really 100-0 anyone right now. All she's sitting on is a Ludens and Swerk Boots. So I think maybe their call might be, you know what, let's just try and get Syndra to a point where she's viable in these team fights, and hopefully look for a play there. Baron spawning here pretty soon. Kennen backing with TP available. Does have Zhonya's Void Staff, which will be crucial for this next fight. I'm expecting Great Jace to just be decimating people in this next fight. Slicing Maelstrom doing so much damage. We saw him do the 1v2 play earlier. Pick up a clean kill onto Jugo.
Yeah, has the Zhonya's available as well. TP up, so keep your eyes on this Kennen. Great Jace, who's currently sitting just off to the side in the mid lane, maybe looking at trying to break open the doors for Tempest and try to break the base. Last game, they weren't successful at getting anything outside of exterior turrets. We'll see if they can maybe find something this game as the collapse from PLATLAS. This is what they do best. We've seen them time and time again in these bigger team fights find success. We'll see if they can find it again, as Zion is seen on all these wards, and Tempest have the location at the moment around the Baron buff. They're going to actually roam mid, try to catch out the Kindred, who's hopping away with that tumble. Syndra poking over the wall, not going to find a stun. They can turn onto the Scion. Zion Athenian just walking away. Neither team ready to commit to a full fight just yet.
Yeah, and both teams are like you mentioned, they're playing this very cautiously. However, it is going to be Tempest who establishes dominance over this Baron side, which might actually not be too bad for PLATLAS here. They have the engage tool with the Scion. If Tempest looks to try and start a Baron, maybe that could be the potential turnaround play with the Scion engaged. Even the static Shiv doing 300 damage from Usana there. This Yasuo damage is no laughing matter at this point, as we have another... is it Inferno? No, it's a mountain. Yep, mountain. As a third mountain spawns.
Oh, but PLATLAS are actually going to roam and try to reposition around the Baron. However, the Syndra is not here. Weenie is not in position around the Baron just yet. There's only 4 members. The Tempest know that, so they're going to step forward. Zohair trying to split up the team. Syndra going to be forced to walk around this side. No, might come from the back line as the Syndra goes in. There's a slicing maelstrom around to the Kennen. However, he's knocked up. The stuns from Syndra are good, but she's immediately ulted and then cleanses out of the ult from Sejuani, but she's still going to be chased down. Unleash Power takes down the Ezreal. The rest of the team, though, this Kindred poking away little by little, but Zion going to fall. Now he's in that zombie form. We'll see what he can do. However, Buddha will drop as well, and Tempest splitting the members of PLATLAS apart find themselves victory by a 3-1 or sorry, a 5-1. They aced the side of PLATLAS and only lost the Ezreal.
I don't know why Bruticus is not using Lamb's Respite in any of these fights. He held it even to the very end, held the Lamb's Respite.
Yeah, could have used it at the very beginning of the fight to try to cancel all of the Slicing Maelstrom damage out of Great Jace, but didn't use it. Not sure if it was because of a stun or something, but yeah, would have at least reset that at the very beginning because of the heal coming through. and then could have been an opportunity for PLATLAS to try to make a play once again. But just the front line out of Duck Solo in that fight, and then Zohair turning around, dropping everything onto the Syndra, making sure that Juggo couldn't find that backline opportunity. Sure, she got one kill onto the Ezreal with the Unleashed Power, but outside of that, there was nothing from PLATLAS, and a clean fight from Tempest. Now they can grab themselves a third Drake this game, the Mountain, and they are solidly in the lead by 5,000 gold. They need to do something, though, with this Baron.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully they will take advantage more of this Baron than PLATLAS was able to on their first Baron. I don't know if Budakis is just sort of playing the I need to get to 1v9 Kindred status, opting for crit and then possibly an IE to finish up. But I think they could have... I think that before this Baron play, they were not necessarily in a losing situation. They could have played around Lamb's Respite and turned the fight around. But now that you have a 7-1 Kennen, a 4-1 Yasuo, it is just so terrifying. Yasuo has a Bloodthirster now, and Kennen was able to pick up 2 needlessly large rods. Once he gets at Rabadons, he is just going to melt. Look at that, even the Ezreal just half-health Syndra with a single ultimate.
Oh, that True Shot Barrage, absolutely brutal, and now they can just sit here in this mid lane, poke away. They've got the range on the Yuumi and the Ezreal, and all they have to do is just siege away. Top lane turret gonna go over to Great Jace as he's been able to shove that minion wave straight in and take yet another turret. It's 4 turrets now from Tempest to PLATLAS, and they're about to make it 5.
Yeah, and Sion can't stop these Baron minions. Like, Sion has nothing in his kit that lets him deal with Baron minions. Like, at best, he can knock back the Kennen minion. I don't know. Oh, Kennen might be backing to look for an engage play underneath mid-tower here of the next wave, maybe? The only reason I can think of why he went back there. He does have Rabadon, so maybe he decided that, okay, I would rather reset, get the Rabadons, and look for a final fight so we can close this game out. But, I mean, at this point, it's going to be really, really hard for...
Ooh, Sejuani maybe trying to make a play on the side on the top side. Okay, just shoving him off, letting the rest of the team kind of reset here in the mid lane. 4 members of Tempest collected here at the moment. Sejuani trying to catch that wave on the top side of the map, bring it back in onto that second tier turret. Might be then joining the team in the mid lane for a 5v4. Ken is splitting to the bottom side of the map, so a bit of the 1-3 we saw out of PLATLAS last game now happening to them as Tempest are going to do that. Take that Baron into all 3 lanes. The top lane, Sion forced to ult away as that turret just going to be chunked low bit by bit.
Yeah, and I'm curious now that Syndra has Zanya's, if she's going to be in a place where she can 1v1 the Kennen. The Kennen is obviously, all is they find Yasuo.
Oh, we got a little bit of fight in the mid lane.
Dangerous TP.
Ezreal, hold on, in the mid lane, there it is, the Braum ultimate, however, Kennen going straight in, he's got the Zanyas as well with the slicing Maelstrom, 2-shot barrage though, gonna be blocked by the Lamb's Respite, Yuumi ultimate gonna lock people up though, they found the Tristana, they found the Braum, they found the Syndra, Budakis shortly to follow as well, Great Jace can try to finish off the Kindred, she's able to get over the wall for the moment, but now the Sion, he's the tank, but he was not there for the rest of the team, he's gonna go golden for a moment as he's trying to escape back into his own base, the stopwatch will not keep him alive for long, he still falls, mid lane inhibitor is gone, then he has finished off the top lane inhibitor turret, and now they could push in for victory. There is only the Kindred. Budakis left alive to try to stop 4 members of Tempest. Excuse me, all 5 members. Hard to see when Yumi's bouncing around. There it is. The Nexus falls, and Tempest will tie up this series 1-1.
Yeah, really good comeback from them, and really, you have to give all of the credit to Duck Solo and Great Jace, who just played this game so well, right? Great Jace sort of being the unsung hero there. We were always seeing Duck Solo doing all these crazy things in all these fights, but it was Great Jace who found a lot of the kills.
Yeah, good stuff there from both teams, but honestly, Tempest looking strong and able to hold their victory throughout the entire, or hold the game really throughout that entire series. There was one fight that PLATLAS got themselves, I think, a 3-1 trade on the top side of the map and started to come back a little bit, closed the gold gap down to about 1,000, and then Tempest once again setting the tempo for the rest of the game, feeling good, just slowly pushing bit by bit through, find themselves a victory in the end. A lot off of Duck Solo, and I have a strong feeling that either the Kennen or the Jace are going to be banned away for game number 3.
Hope you meant Yasuo, because I agree.
I said the Yasuo or Great Jace. Now, I'm also curious, what are your thoughts real quick before we get into the Game 3 lobby on the Yumi, right? We talked about at the beginning of the game, we said it's actually pretty decent, but it requires a lot of finesse around the playstyle because of just how the champion works as a whole. How do you think Cardi did on Yumi this game?
I mean, definitely played the champion really well in the laning phase, going in and out of Ezreal to bounce aggro, look for pressure, trying to eat some abilities, go and then hide again. I think played the lane really well. I think even though I'm saying they played it really well, I think I would like to see a more engaged sort of support come out of Cardi, because while they didn't lose the lane, they didn't necessarily find a solid lead either. Whereas, perhaps if they were able to pick up someone like an Alistar or a Rakan, even something like that, they might have been able to find more opportunities for roaming plays from Duxola coming down, or even calling Zohair down to find some more opportunities. When it's just Ezreal and Yumi, I think it's sort of hard to do some of those sorts of things. But all in all, did still play the champion very well.
Yeah, the 1-0 and 13 lineup, great poke there, and great escapes. One moment in which the Ezreal fell in the bottom lane, but outside of that, Yumi doing a good job in the bottom lane, getting the poke down, and then rotating to the Yasuo, allowing those slows to come through, setting him up for those dives forward. Great stuff there. But I definitely want to see a Yasuo ban coming out of PLATLAS for game number 3. We'll see if that happens. We're taking a very quick break as we are tied up 1-1 in this finals for the Blue Otter Platinum League. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss game 3.